They call it the Sunset Strip, and for most people, if you're old school, you know where it's at. But for other people, hey, it's West Hollywood. 9026 is the place. It's Shamrock Tattoos. That's right. They're hip, and they got everything going down, particularly on July 29th. I got the opportunity to meet one of the famous people that's going to be there, a tattoo pioneer. His name is Freddy. But before that, I want you to just look on the camera here, spinning around, check out his studio because we're behind the scenes. But people don't know who you are, Freddie. Give us a little 411 of who you are.
Well, I'm Freddy Negrete, tattoo artist. Myself, Jack Rudy, Ed Hardy, Mark Mahoney, and Good Time Charlie. In the 70s, we introduced a new style of tattooing to the tattoo world that's come to be known as black and gray realism. It has its roots in the Chicano culture and was uh, perfected in the California prison system.
All right, so we're taking you back in the day, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. There was only two types of tattoos. You either had to be a sailor or you had to be in prison, right? One of the two.
Kind of like that.
And Chicanos made the best out of it in the pinta, as they say,
Right.
back in the day. And they created what you call this, what do you call it, gray?
Black and gray.
Black and gray. So what is black and gray? What define it for me?
What it is it's realism, you know. So it's like a black and white photograph. So you do very thin lines, you know, like fine line. You don't want big bold lines, and the tattoo has different shades of black and gray. And you get the gray by watering down the black.
Well, that's fascinating. Now, you know, how did it make the jump from prison culture to like the hipster culture? What was that brink? Was it the technology nowadays? Everybody got on the internet and saw your work, and then they said, "Wow, cool, I want to have that." Or how did it happen? Because all of a sudden it just happened.
Well, I mean, it's just gotten really popular, and of course, social media and the internet has a lot to do with that. But it made the jump years ago. Actually, um, the difference was Good Time Charlie's tattoo shop in East LA. They were attempting to do this prison style work and offer it to the public. Everybody in East LA, all the Chicanos, all the homies, they wanted their tattoos to look like they were done in prison. They didn't want this traditional style. And then I got out of prison and I was tattooing my apartment, and I ended up hooking up with Good Time Charlie's, and I got a job there. And Jack Rudy and myself uh, perfected this style.
All right, they're from East LA. It started pretty much in East LA. Good Time Charlie's. Give me a cross street. Where's that at? And where so people have an idea in East LA? Because
Well, it's not there anymore.
Well,
Where it
was it?
was, it was between Atlantic Boulevard and Garfield Boulevard on Whitter. It was on Whitter Boulevard between Atlantic and Garfield.
All
Close
right.
to Atlantic.
So if you're an old schooler and you're from East LA, you probably know where it's at. Probably closer to the hamburger stand. Was that the hamburger stand used to be there? There's a there's a couple things on Whittier Boulevard that you remember back in the day.
Well, so the boulevard when this is back in the day when everybody used to cruise the boulevard. So the cruising started at Atlantic, you know. So we were just before that.
Okay. Now, what was your first tattoo that you did? What got you into this whole thing? Because there's something that just sparks in people's mind and say, "I'm going to try it," or it just came to you. How did it happen?
Well, I was a kid from the barrio, and I remember I was like 12 years old, and I was in juvenile hall. I got into some trouble, and I was in a holding cell with this older kid who was from Maravilla, and he had tattoos all over, and I was just like, wow, this guy is so cool, you know. And anyways, he told me how to do it. You wrap a needle around a thread, and so I still had the very first little tattoo. I got out of juvenile hall that day, and I went to my house, and I hand poked this little tattoo on me. But by the time I was 13, my whole arm was full of hand poked tattoos.
Wow, that's pretty exciting.
And then I joined my neighborhood, in San Gabriel, Sangra, and I was tattooing all the homeboys, doing the Pachuco crosses and different things, you know.
So you started in East LA. You started with the tattoo. You were in juvenile hall, probably right there on the backside of the projects. General Hospital, right there?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's what they used to call juvie back in the day.
Right across the street from where we're doing the event.
Well, and that event is July 29th.
this Saturday.
And what's the event called so people have an idea?
The event's called Tatuaje,
Okay,
which is
tatuaje in Spanish and English means tattoo.
tattoo. Yeah.
And what can we expect if I say I wanted to go to Tatuaje? What it's just gonna? Do I go get a tattoo, or it's
Well,
gonna be
no, no,
bands? It's gonna be
it's not
food?
like
Was
a.
it?
It's a great show. So it starts as an art show, and the artists are exclusively tattoo artists. That's why it's called Tatuaje. There's so much good talent in the tattoo world today. We wanted to show how they express themselves in other mediums. So there's the art show. Then we're doing a tribute to the tattoo conventions that they have all over the world these days. And so we have a hall with 7 tattoo shops, and they set up their booths. We're not tattooing the public, but they have their favorite artists from that shop doing one tattoo through the night. At the end of the night, we'll judge it as a tattoo contest, and they'll be promoting their shop and stuff. And there's lots of food, lots of drinks. We have DJs. We have a back. There's a back dance floor. The plaza is great.
Yeah.
And then Danny Trejo's hosting, and uh,
So if you don't know who Danny Trejo is, because a lot of people you throw names out in Hollywood, Danny Trejo, Machete.
Machete.
It's a very very famous name. But if you don't know who he is, he's the Latin dude on most of the films that has the big tattoo on his
Chara.
chest, right?
Probably the most famous tattoo.
Tattoo everywhere.
Yeah.
Who did that tattoo? Do you know who did it?
Yeah. Oh man, I can't. Luke. Oh, I forget the name. It's an older guy.
Mhm.
He did it by hand, but in prison. But he ended up being a good tattoo artist out on the streets. Um, I just forget his name.
Well, that
Yeah.
happens because yeah, it's one of the most famous tattoos. Danny Trejo, also famous for his tacos, and soon to have a donut shop. I think he has like a.
It's already open.
It's already the donut shop is already open.
Yep.
So he's going to be there hosting. But another thing that I like is just another band from East LA. Back in the day,
Los Lobos.
they started with a jarocho and the quinta and all these little guitars and things of that sort. And now they're they're pretty much known as Los Lobos, correct?
Yes, Los Lobos. So we have Los Lobos headlining, and it's a great honor for us. They're a great band and very accomplished. And also their children, Ruby and Louis Perez, they have a band called LP3 and the Tragedy. Great band. So this is going to be the first time that the kids band and Los Lobos play together in their own hometown. So that's good. And we also have Furiosa and Nancy Sanchez.
So it's going to be not just a tattoo festival to
It's
go get
music,
tattoos,
dancing.
music, food, dancing, and what
Art.
times it start and what times
It
it
starts
finish.
at 7 and finishes at 1:30, probably 2. Whatever time Los Lobos wants to finish playing. And I hear they can do a lot of songs. So.
Well, they have a long, besides Mexican folkloric and rock and roll and current, some of their top hits, they've done a lot. They have a
Yes.
breadth of music,
Yeah,
good
they
breadth
do.
of music. And then you throw in the chicos, their sons. So there's going to be a healthy competition between dads and sons and daughters and
Right,
mothers
right.
who are playing
Yeah,
the,
Ruby and Louie.
Ruby and Louie throwing it down. But the other question for you, most people, when they think of tattoos, sort of afraid of tattoos because some people grew up with that stigma, other people didn't grow up with the stigma. If there was any tips I would give a person to get my first tattoo, what would that tip be?
That tip would be do your research. Make sure the artist is accredited. Make sure you like his work. Make sure it's at a registered tattoo shop with the county and they have all their paperwork, and you'll be well taken care of.
So Shamrock is the place you chill at most of the time here?
Yeah, this is where I work. Shamrock Tattoo, the world famous Shamrock Tattoo. This is where all the celebrities come, and it's right here on Sunset in West Hollywood, right on the border of Beverly Hills. Very busy shop. Great artists. So many great artists working here. Owned by Mark Mahoney, who's a legend in himself. So
So if you have a chance to get a tattoo, this will probably be one of the places you might want to think of because, of course, you're always trying to get the best and find the healthiest because sometimes there's people out there that are just doing it and have no clue what they're doing.
exactly. I mean, there's a lot of people that want a tattoo, and tattooing's so popular, and there's a lot of people that want to get a tattoo, any way they can get it, especially cheap. The thing is, a cheap tattoo ain't good, and a good tattoo ain't cheap. So you just take care of
You
yourself.
pay
It's
what
your
you
body.
get for.
Yeah.
That's true. It's one
You
of
get
like
what you
it's
pay
almost
for.
it's like plastic surgery. You want to go cheap. Sometimes it doesn't come out the way
Right.
you wanted it to
Right.
be.
And
Now,
it's your body, so you got to look out for yourself.
to be VIP at this event, what's it going to cost to be at this event, at the Tatuaje event on July 29th?
Uh, the tickets are $30.
And can I get them online? Do I have to go to
Yeah, you can get them
Plaza?
online. www.tatuaje2017.eventbrite.com.
So you
So
can
it's
get your
on
tickets
Eventbrite.
there. And family friendly or just for people who want to get tattoos?
It's people friendly. You don't have to be a tattoo person to go because it's such a great concert and such a great event, and all the people are good. We've never ever had a problem there. But it is 21 and over because of the alcohol.
The alcohol is present. So if you're 21 and over, you want to see some great tattoo artists do their work because you're going to judge it at the end of the night, correct?
And some great art.
And some great
We have
art
the gallery.
and great food and great music. Well, the 29th at Tatuaje is brought to you by Pelayo, right? Pelayo?
Live production.
Pelayo Productions. And of course,
And me.
Freddy here doing some of the tattoos, and you can chat with them and get some inside tips on that day. But Freddy, any last parting words? Things that you see, trends, or things that you see that you might want to give people insight? What can they expect next?
No, I mean, it's really hard to predict. Tattooing has come a long way. But I do want to add this. I'll have my book, Smile Now, Cry Later, will be on sale there. So, and I'll be doing a book signing there as well.
Taking you back, maybe with a little teardrop in my eye, but I don't qualify for that one. I was never in jail, but it's one of those things that happens from East Alley, the barrio. Hey, sometimes when you think you've done bad, hey, good things can come from that, and you're one of those persons
an
example, a good example of making good out of something that people thought was very bad.
Exactly.
All right, check it out, eventbrite.com, Tatuaje. Hey, 21 and over, coming up Saturday, about a week or so. And the rest, well, it's all up to you to enjoy great food, great drinks, and a lot of great people. 360 is what we do. Bye.